of this council. May each person come to this table acknowledging the position of responsibility held. Help us to be fully aware of and acknowledge the variety of issues in this community, also remembering those who are the most vulnerable. May we never lose sight of our position as we seek to serve all the interests and needs of this community. Heavenly Father, be with us in our conversations and discussion. May we always be willing to listen, to be patient, respectful and kind. May we be worthy representatives of the people we serve. And the blessing of God be upon this meeting, upon you all and upon those who you represent here in Dunstable. In the name of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen.
Members, could I just ask if everybody could switch their mobiles to silent, please, if they haven't already done so. Apologies for absence.
We have apologies from Councillors John Gurney, Mark Davis and Michelle Henderson.
And Councillor Katarski.
And also Councillor Katarski.
I believe everyone else is here, so thank you. So, council minutes. Do I have your authority to sign the minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 26th of June as a correct record? Yes? Okay. Do we have the folder? Do them afterwards. Okay. Any specific declarations of interest this evening? As always, if something comes up during the meeting, please do raise your hand and we can declare it at that time. Chairman's remarks. You'll see from the activity report that I've submitted in this set of agenda papers, I've changed it slightly to give those of you that are keen to maybe be mayor in the future a better understanding of the time that it takes to do the role and also the amount of time it takes to actually prepare for the role. I've also highlighted the fact that this has been a great opportunity to take along some of you to those events. I know Councillor Alderman, Councillor Atwell, Councillor Bater, Councillor Blennerhassett, Councillor Hollick and Councillor Reardon, you've all been to events with me so far. And I know going forward we've got some other dates as well for people to come along. So if you are interested, please do let me know. We had a successful golf day just over a week ago, where I raised over £3,500 for my charities. An extremely successful day with a massive support from the local business community in Dunstable, which I've gone out and publicly thanked them for that. Both my next two events, the Ploughman's Supper and the Indian Vantage Night, have all sold out. So sorry councillors, you weren't quick enough, unfortunately. You do need to be quicker to get your tickets. Just one other thing I just want to touch base on. We are reaching Remembrance Weekend. Now, Remembrance Sunday is one of the key events in our town that we as a town council are extremely proud of and how we do it. And I would ask you all, please, if you can't come to the whole thing, you make yourself available from around 10:15 on the Sunday morning until around 11:30 once the wreaths have been laid at the War Memorial. It really is an opportunity for us to showcase the civic pride that we have for Dunstable, and as a town council, it's our reputation that I want to uphold by having us all there if possible. I understand some people may not be able to due to health issues, and that's perfectly fine, but if you can, please do make an effort to be there, and I'm sure Georgia will be letting us know all the time shortly. Item 5, public question time. I don't believe we've had any public questions come forward. So we will move to item 6, which is the committee reports, and I'm going to call upon the relevant chairs in turn to present their reports. In accordance with the usual practice, I'll then call out the appropriate minute numbers and would ask members to indicate whether they wish to ask any questions or make remarks. And at this point, just to remind you that it's the Vice Chairman's job to second the motion. So, in the absence of Councillor Gurney, Councillor Blenner-Hassett.
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to present the report of the Community Services Committee held on the 4th of September. The committee received service level update reports from 3 organisations in Dunstable: Hospice at Home, Citizens Advice and the Dunstable and District History Society. The committee also received officers' reports about Town Centre and Older People's Services, Grove Corner and community engagement. The committee agreed to the 2025 events programme. Autism Bedfordshire has been awarded one of the Town Council's 2 free uses of Grove Theatre for their AGM. It was agreed officers shall explore opportunities to diversify the 2024 Summer Band concert programme. Members also received reports and updates on the High Street Heritage Action Zone, in particular Priory House. Officers delivered the annual report on the Peter Newton Pavilion. There were reports from several members who represent the Council on various outside bodies. Members approved to accept a bid for a National Lottery Heritage Fund grant, if successful, to help with the ongoing restoration work of Priory House.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded?
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to second.
Minute 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176, 177. It's been moved and seconded that the report. Those in favour? And against? The motion's carried. Councillor Brennan, Grounds and Environmental Services Committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to present the minutes for the Grounds and Environmental Services Committee meeting, the 11th of September. We received an update on Creasy Park Football Centre and Splash Park, as we often do. Since this meeting, I have actually visited Creasy Park due to some issues with parking on the access road to Creasy Park. And I want to thank the team at Creasy Park for all their hard work, engaging with the residents there in the past week, because I think they've been doing a fantastic job to try and mitigate the situation there. We agreed a new tenancy agreement for the allotments, and we agreed to recommend the release of £40,000 from the new cemeteries fund to FNGP. All the other details of the meeting can be found in the minutes. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded?
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to second.
Thank you. 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184. Councillor Hollick.
Madam Mayor, my hand was half up. There were a number of actions that were listed under 182. Just wondering if they have been acted upon, if there's an update.
I don't have an update for any of these items at the moment. I think the Mentmore fencing, obviously there's going to be a report at the November Grounds and Environmental Services Committee. I'm wondering if John is on Teams, if he has an update for any of the other items.
John, would you like to come in?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I hope you can hear me okay. With regard to the actions that are listed there, I don't have an update on the toilet facilities yet with regard to the hub. That hasn't been forthcoming. The issue with regard to parking, I know the grounds operations manager was looking into that one and I believe has dealt with that one. The fencing issue raised will be, as the chair said, I'll be bringing a report to the committee to also include some potential modifications for at access level as well. And the last one there, middle row, I think we gave a response that we'd taken those matters up with Central Bedfordshire Council and we're waiting for a reply. I hope that's satisfactory, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, John. We move on to 183, 184, 185, 186. 187, 188. It's been moved and seconded that the report be received. Those in favour? I declare the motion to be carried. Finance and General Purposes Committee, Councillor Hollick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm pleased to propose that the minutes of the Finance and General Purposes Committee held on Monday the 18th of September be received. As I say at the outset, we approved the release of £40,000 cemetery reserve to undertake those works identified in section 3 of the report. We resolved a number of matters concerning financial issues, and we were looking at the marketing and communications and going through that. We also set up carbon neutral working group as well as looking at matters from outside organisations from various representatives there. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hollick. Is the motion seconded?
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to second.
189, 190, 191, 192, 193, 194, 195. It's been moved and seconded that the report be received. Those in favour? That's unanimous. Thank you. Motion's carried. Our next item is a referral report from the Planned Subcommittee, and it's recommended that we change the normal day and time of Planned Subcommittee meetings to Mondays at 6 o'clock, except for when bank holiday weeks, when meetings would be on Tuesdays. This went to Planned Sub not so long back, but they asked for it to come to full council for full council's agreement. Obviously, we have a Planned Sub tomorrow night, so if approved, that will still go ahead, and we'll make the changes from the next Planned Sub. Is there a proposer for this recommendation?
Madam Mayor, I'm happy to propose the motion.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded?
Madam Mayor, I'm pleased to second that.
Okay. Those in favour? And against? Okay. I declare the motion to be carried. Councillor Tamara.
Thank you. Don't want to be out of order, but just want to ask a question. In a situation whereby the motion has been passed, I'm happy with it, but in a situation where you have full council like today, and you have, Planned Sub, for example, what happened? Are we moving the dates around to make sure nothing?
So the dates we've given you are for Planned Sub to be at 6 o'clock and the council meetings at 7 o'clock. In the very unlikely event that a Planned Sub meeting runs more than an hour, then the council meeting would be delayed until plans had finished, and council would then start once the Planned Sub meeting had finished. Normally plans is less than half an hour, so normally it would work within the current timescale.
Councillor Hollick.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Looking at the revised meeting calendar, which obviously takes account of the Planned Sub, but there are one or two, I believe, mistakes on this still. 12th of October, Personnel Subcommittee, I believe that's now the 19th. The joint committee that is listed here on the 7th of December is now apparently the 14th of December, and the annual council meeting has been moved now to the 20th of May, which is on this list, I think, but it was on the 13th of May. So I just thought I'd better bring those matters to your attention. So it's not quite up to date.
Thank you, Councillor Hollick. We'll have the list updated and recirculated to everybody. The next item on the agenda is to agree any nominations to the Bedfordshire Association of Town and Parish Councils, and you will have received some correspondence with regards to this, and you've also got that within your pack. Do you want to say anything, Paul?
So I put this on the agenda partly because a number of you are new members and we haven't engaged with won't have engaged with the association before. The council hasn't recently sent a representative to the association, so we don't have to. But I know they would welcome it if we do. We pay a subscription to them and we get services from them. We're one of their largest subscribers because of the size that we're in fact their largest subscriber, given that we're the largest council in their area. So they would welcome a member. It's a good opportunity a few times a year to engage with councillors from other councils, but it's not obligatory. So if any members wish to be involved, that would be welcome.
Paul, is there anyone around the table that would like to put their name in the hat, as they say, for this? You don't, as Paul says, you don't have to. It's not obligatory, but it would be good at town and parish level to have a voice. Kenson?
Madam Mayor, I'm quite happy to trot along to this. It's in Shefford, which is just down the road from CBC offices, and I'm a twin hatter, so I can hopefully make a good impact and bring back some good information.
Is there anybody else that wishes to put their name in the hat? Matt?
Madam Mayor, I'm happy to put my name forward as well.
Okay, thank you. Are we looking for just one, or can we do two? Yeah, okay. We can do two, so therefore we'll put both names forward unless there's anybody else that wishes to put their name forward. Okay, that's fine. Then we'll put both names forward, Councillor Kenson Gurney and Councillor Matt Neal. Thank you. I just ask that when you do go to meetings that you do come back and you actually inform us all, not just your individual group, please, that you treat us as one and we have one update from you all, please. John, are you coming in on this?
Oh, sorry, Chair, we lost the sound there for a minute. I couldn't hear you speaking to me. Are we on item, agenda item 9?
Yeah, the new cemetery working group.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Yes, a very simple report to ask members if they'd like to put themselves forward for a working group. I've given some brief detail there about what sort of work that the working group would be doing in the future. We feel this is such an important issue that it should have cross support from across all the main standing committees, and therefore we brought it to council to give all of the members an opportunity to do so. So the recommendation there is that members might like to consider putting themselves forward, and then we can call hopefully a working group this side of Christmas. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, John. Okay, Councillor Brennan, you wanted to speak?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very happy to put my name forward, obviously as Chair of Grounds and Environmental Services Committee. I think it makes a lot of sense. So happy to be part of that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Brennan. I'd have said you were given anyway because of that role. Okay, I'm going to jump in and put my name in the hat before we even go any further as well. So can those that are interested in being on that committee put their hands up so we can see who we've got, and then we can decide whether there's...
I make that 4 plus 2.
Right, so we've got Kenson, Richard, Louise, Greg. So there's 6 of us in total. Yeah. Okay, if there's nobody else, then we'll go with that group of 6. Happy, everybody? Those in favour? Okay, thank you very much. Ten is reports by members of Central Bedfordshire Council on matters of interest to the Town Council. Do any of our twin hatters have anything to update us on at the present time? Councillor Gurney.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I won't go on too long. Obviously, there's a change in administration type. This has resulted in a big discussion about the nature and timing of meetings, and there's been a lot of obsession with whether meetings should be afternoon or evening meetings. That is perhaps coming to an end now, and hopefully we'll see more proper business put on the table in the next 3 months. The Schools for the Future programme, as you probably know, has been paused. Now, it doesn't really affect Dunstable because we've already done it. It doesn't particularly affect Luton, although they're not involved in CBC directly, because they've already done it. But it is paused because of a huge deficit in funds of more than £300 million. This is going to leave CBC Council very short of money for the foreseeable future, because they do want to get Schools for the Future back on track. But it means the concept of getting any money out of CBC in the short term is going to be very difficult.
Thank you, Councillor Gurney. Do any other Central Beds members have updates to provide? Don't feel you have to. Councillor Crawley?
Just a really short one, really specific to today. If you see anybody watching or anybody around the table sees me slightly distracted on my device today, there has been a sinkhole in my ward discovered, which has closed 3 local roads, Borough Road, Park Road, and I forget the other one at the moment. But so yeah, that's happening at the moment and will be resolved very soon, hopefully.
Thank you, Councillor Crawley, for that. Could you keep us all in touch with what's going on? Thank you. Councillor Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a reminder for everyone that on the 10th of October, the Watling House debate somewhat may come to a close as it goes to executive committee meeting. And I'm going to try and be there. I'm going to try and put some sort of voice forward. There is an open petition that we started to stop the sale of Watling House and the land attached to it. So I'm a bit surprised that they've decided to continue with putting it on the agenda for the 10th of October, but there we have it. There we go. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Brennan. Councillor Hollick.
Perhaps following up, as far as the next agenda is concerned for the executive, I did mention Dial-A-Ride, and I made representation on behalf of Dial-A-Ride at Central Beds. It has been positively received by the portfolio holder, and a letter has gone from Dial-A-Ride to all the executive members as well, explaining the critical situation of Dial-A-Ride and the concern that there is if anything adverse was to happen which would affect Dial-A-Ride. I myself aren't going to be there because I'm away, but the chairman of Dial-A-Ride will be there to give her 3 minutes on the day.
Thank you, Councillor Hollick. Councillor Alderman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not a CBC councillor, but I have a CBC-related update in my ward Central. Central Bedfordshire Council are going forward with a school street on Burr Street, which is, in my view and in the residents of Burr Street's view, a positive development. However, Central Bedfordshire Council so far seems hesitant to consider a parking provision for the school, which would meet the school street's needs. The school itself is Dunstable Icknield Lower School. 2/3 of their students come from outside of a catchment area, so hundreds of people do drive there, and therefore this is an issue that will develop and may affect Dunstable Town Council business, or at least councillors and people should be made aware going forward. So I'm engaged in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Alderman. Anybody else wish to talk on this agenda item? No? Okay. Councillor Gurney?
Thank you, Councillor Alderman. I will take what you've said and use what influence I have to push it in the right direction. As you know, I believe in free car parking anyway, so it's a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned.
Councillor Crawley?
Sorry, on the I wasn't going to come in to mention this, but as it's been raised, there is also a school streets scheme being looked into in my ward for St Augustine's, which doesn't have a car park provision to make any kind of special arrangement for. So watch this space.
Thank you, Councillor Crawley. I think all schools need to have a review of how and what parents actually do with their children to get them to school. And it's, yeah, we can't all have the town centre car park, unfortunately, that is possibly needed. Okay, thank you. Right, if there's nobody else wishing to talk on that one, we'll move to item 11, which is the exclusion of press and public. In terms of Schedule 12A, Local Government Act of 1972, the following items will be likely to disclose exempt information relating to establishment and contractual matters, and it is therefore recommended that pursuant to the provisions of the Public Bodies Admissions to Meetings Act 1960, the public and press be excluded. Is there a proposer? Councillor Hollick?
Madam Mayor, I do so propose.
Is the motion seconded?
Madam Mayor, I'm happy to second the motion.
Those in favour? And against? I declare the motion to be carried. We'll just pause now while we ask the gentleman to leave the meeting and for the recording to stop. We do need the